Welcome to Introduction to Maya series. I am your instructor Rohan Page. In this video, we will learn the fundamentals of rigging. What will be our workflow? We will understand the skeleton menu, how to create a joint chain, what is IK handle, and how to use it. Let's start with the session. To start with the basic understanding of joints, first of all, change the menu set to rigging, which will give you the required option and menu set of that respective process. We have a skeleton menu over here. With the help of this menu, we can create different types of joint chains. We can convert it into IK and we can work with different menus. Let us see how it works. So first tool which we need to understand is create joint. This tool is used to create a joint chain. You can see that the marker is now is displayed in plus symbol. If I'll click over here, we get one joint. If you can continue, you can create the joints like this at the desired place. You need to press enter on your keyboard to complete the process. Now you can see that you have created different types of joints over here in a particular shape, and this is called as joint chain. Now when you select the first joint of this joint chain, whole skeleton or whole chain is getting selected. So this particular joint is called as root joint, a joint after selecting which the whole skeleton gets selected or gets affected. This is the main parent, main leader of this joint chain. Press down arrow key if you want to move down towards the hierarchy. If you want to move upwards in the hierarchy, press up arrow on your keyboard. Right. So basically in this thing, this circular shape over here, this circular shape is called as joint, whereas the connecting part of these two joints is called as bone. Bone is always pointed towards its child. It's broader at the parent side. So you can see that basically the joint chain follows this parent-child relationship. That means if I'll move the main parent, all the child of these joints are going to get affected. If I'll select this particular joint, it is going to affect the lower hierarchy. Right. So when I selected the lower children, it is not going to affect anything. Right. So basically this is how you can create a joint chain with the help of joint tool. Now let us talk about how we can change the placement of joints in the existing chain. Because suppose if you think that okay, you want to change the position of this joint, you think that the position where I have placed it is not good, not according to my requirement, and if try to move it directly, you can see that the whole joint chain is getting affected. So if you want to move any particular joint in an existing chain, you will have to hold D on your keyboard and move, so that it will move only that selected joint. The second thing is you can also press insert on your keyboard, and this will also help you to change the placement of your joint. Right. Now if you want to remove any joint from the existing joint chain, suppose I want to remove this joint, I cannot press directly delete on my keyboard because it is going to delete the lower hierarchy. To do so, you will have to select that joint, go to skeleton and use this option called as remove joint. Remove joint will remove only that respective joint and will parent the lower hierarchy with the remaining one. If you want to remove this joint, you can select that joint, go to skeleton and use the option called as remove joint. Now if suppose I have removed this joint, and now I think that I want the joint between these two, right? If you want to insert a joint in an existing joint chain, then first of all you need to select the tool, go to skeleton, choose insert joint tool. This tool will help you to insert a joint in an existing joint chain. Now while creating a joint, I want to create a joint in between these two joints, right? So if I want to create a joint over here, which means parent will be this joint. So select that parent joint, click and drag. Left mouse, click and drag. So in this way I have created a joint in an existing chain. Suppose you want to create a joint between these two. Select parent and then insert a joint. If you want to remove it, you just select that joint and choose remove joint. Next option which we will see is mirror joint tool. How to mirror the joint. So suppose I'll just delete this. I'll go to side view. Suppose I have created this leg joint and I want to duplicate it on the other side. So we have an option called as, go to skeleton, there is an option called as mirror joint tool. Now let us, before using it, I'll just rename these joints as, suppose this is a left leg, so I'll rename it as L underscore pelvis. The next bone I will rename it as L underscore knee, L underscore ankle, L underscore ball, L underscore toe. So I have this joint chain representing the left leg. Now I want to mirror it on the right side with the same naming convention. So if you'll go to skeleton mirror joint, there you will have different types of mirror axis. If I'll say duplicate this joint chain in XY orientation and I'll say apply, it is going to get the duplicate joint chain at this XY orientation axis. If I'll select YZ, you are going to get it exactly at the opposite side of that joint chain. And if I'll say YXZ, it is going to duplicate in XZ axis orientation. Now I want it in YZ orientation and I say apply. Now you can see that I got the duplicated chain, but there is one problem that the naming convention is same. L pelvis 1, it has added only 1 as a digit to represent that it is a duplicated joint. L knee 1, L ankle. I don't want such kind of left leg naming convention. I want right leg naming convention. And if you see over here, I am using L underscore pelvis. This is the type of naming convention I am using. So while duplicating it, what we need to do is choose mirror axis as a YZ, search for L underscore and replace it with R underscore. Now mirror it. So you can see over here the naming convention has been changed as R underscore pelvis, R underscore ankle, R underscore ball, R underscore toe. The thing is why the knee name has not changed, because the L I used in this naming convention is in small letter. I'll just rename it as R underscore knee. It is going to find the same naming convention. That's why there was little bit of change in knee. Hence it has not changed. I had to change it manually. Okay, so this was about mirror joint tool. The next thing which we need to talk about is IK handle. Now, what is IK? IK is an acronym of inverse kinematics. There is FK also. FK means forward kinematics. So first we will talk about FK, then we will come on this tool, that is IK handle tool. Suppose I have created the leg joint again, or else you can, I'll just create 3 joints over here. 1, 2, 3. Press enter on the keyboard. Now when you create any joint chain, it is by default in FK, forward kinematics. Suppose you want to fold this leg. If I want to move or give any kind of pose to this leg, I will have to rotate the parent, then I will have to rotate this respective joint, and you are getting a respective pose of the leg. Now I cannot move joints to get the pose. You can see that it is changing the position of my overall leg shape. So in forward kinematics, I'll be getting my desired position with the help of only rotations. I'll be moving my parent, child will follow it, and this is basic thing of forward kinematics. So in forward kinematics, parent moves and child follow. If you want to get a desired position, then you will have to use rotation. Now we will see what is IK handle tool. For that you need to first of all go to IK skeleton, IK handle tool option box. We have a solver type over here, that is single chain solver and rotate plane solver. If you are creating an IK handle between single joint chain, then we can use single chain solver. But if you are creating an IK handle between 3 or more than 3 joints, then for the purpose of creating a pole vector rotation, we will have to use rotate plane solver. So click on this option called as rotate plane solver, and now I want to create an IK handle between pelvis and ankle. I'll click on ankle. You can see that there is a separate controller created by Maya, which is giving me a handle also. right? So if you'll select it, you will get the attributes of that respective controller, which is known as IK handle. You can rename it as leg IK, right? So this rotate plane solver is going to help you with this pole vector. Like if I'll select the pole vector X, I'll be able to move my knee position. Now to get the desired position of my leg, which I was getting with the help of rotation in FK, now this IK will help you with this controller. You can simply move this handle and you are going to get the position. So basically I am moving child and parents are following it. So that's why it is inverse kinematics. I am moving directly a child object with the help of translation, and it is giving me the desired position of the leg. So this is IK handle, which we will be using to create for arms and legs for biped or quadruped, you can say. The last tool which I would like to tell you is about a reroute skeleton. Suppose I have created a joint chain, and as you know that the first joint which was created at the time of creating this joint chain is called as root bone, a bone because of which the whole skeleton gets selected and gets affected, right? So it is a main bone, and the main bone in the joint chain is called as root bone. Now if you want to change at any point of time, if you want to change the root bone in the existing joint chain, suppose you want to make this joint as a root bone, then you will have to select that joint, go to skeleton and choose this option called as reroute skeleton. You can see that after choosing that reroute skeleton, the direction of this bone is changed. It is broader towards this side and pointed towards child. And if I'm moving this joint, the whole joint chain is getting affected, right? So I have changed the whole direction of my joint chain, and I have changed the root bone. So it is not like that your first or last joint needs to be a root bone. Any bone can be a root bone. Now suppose I have selected this bone, and I'll go to skeleton and choose reroute skeleton. Now you can see both the joints, this one and this one, these two hierarchies are working separately, but both are child of this particular bone. So I can move it, and I can move these hierarchies separately. We'll be using such kind of connection at the time of leg and hand. So this is about reroute skeleton. Reroute skeleton is used to change the root bone of joint chain at any point of time. So this was about few menus of skeleton. If you want to remove the connection between any joint, what you can do is you can simply select those two joints and press Shift P for unparent. You can see that the connection between these joints has been lost. Now if you want to connect it again, you can simply select the child, then parent, press P, that is parent. Again select the child, then parent, press P. You can also create a single joint, and later on you can connect it with the existing joint chain with the help of normal parenting. So that's all about the skeleton menu. We have seen the main options which we'll be using for creating any kind of a biped rig. So this is about skeleton menu. Let's see what we have learned in this video. What we learned in this video. We have seen that joints are the building blocks of skeletons and their points of articulation. Also, joints have no shape and therefore cannot be rendered. Joint chain follows parent-child relationship. We have seen that FK is an acronym of forward kinematics. Rotation is used to get desired position of joints. IK is an acronym of inverse kinematics. With IK, you can create an extra control structure. An IK handle for certain joint chains such as arms and legs. An IK handle lets you pose and animate an entire joint chain by moving a single manipulator. For any query, you can follow me on Facebook or you can email me at rohan.pageanimator@gmail.com. You can join my classroom with this code or you can subscribe to my channel Rohan Page. Thank you.